everyone. This is Catherine Adams.
And Elizabeth Wallace, and you're listening to Binary System number 14, and tonight we're recapping Welcome to Night Vale episode 76, an Epilogue. We're going to go listen to the episode, and like we always do, we encourage you to listen to it as well, because when we come back, we're going to spoil the hell out of it. See you in a minute. Okay.
Now
I see what they did there.
Yeah. Now I know what people were talking about on some of the chat rooms and the Night Vale Facebook page and other places like that. I saw at least one person say, well, that was a great 28-minute long commercial.
Yes, exactly. I remember I got a text message from listener Ashley, who is over on the Two Geeks and a Podcast on PixelatedGeek.com, speaking of plug, and she had told me that they were setting something up in this episode, and then when I talked to her today, she said, some people may like it and some people may not like it, and I was like, I definitely get what she's talking about there, but I liked it, but I did twig to what they were doing fairly early on in the episode.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of twee.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious from the very get-go, but anyway, we'll start from the beginning and work our way there. Started out with talking about the book tour and the live show, which, if you didn't realize, is going on simultaneously. You know, they have the live show going on in some places, sometimes on the exact same night that they have the book tour going on in a completely different area of the country. So they're really plugging the hell out of this book, as this episode actually shows.
Yep, they're actually going to be in Chapel Hill on November 3rd, and they're going to be there with John Darnell from the band The Mountain Goats, which is interesting because we're actually know the wife of John Darnell. She's in Nathan's Flickr group.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's very cool, kind of tertiary connection there, and the show's completely sold out, so... Oh, well.
Oh, that's right. The show is not the book tour show, but the live show is November 3rd in San Diego. I have not bought my tickets yet. That might come back around to bite me if I don't buy them soon. But you and I at least have one positive thing to report about our actions regarding this book.
Yes, we finally pre-ordered the damn thing.
Finally! We actually emailed each other. We're like, now, do it now. Buy the damn thing. God. I don't know. That happened 2 or 3 days ago?
Yeah. It was just, how long have we had the option to pre-order and we waited until the book's 6 days away, basically?
Yeah. Didn't we find out about this in before July? I don't know.
Something like that. Yes,
something like that. Anyway.
We're slack.
Fine.
But I got the hardback because, darn it, I'm going to break bad and get the hardback copy of it. And then maybe later I'll get the audio version, which will be read by Cecil himself.
Yes, looking forward to that, definitely. But speaking of Cecil, he comes into the episode this week, and the entire episode does this. It's the events of the last couple weeks in King City, which I don't need to mention to you because, of course, you know all about it, have created some fallout, namely the Barista District. And then the whole episode is really about the Barista District basically kind of exploding.
Yeah, and it's all been caused by the events of the last few weeks, which he doesn't need to go into detail because you were all there, of course. So just that over and over again.
Yes, and the events with the man in the tan jacket. And isn't it great that now we know everything about the man in the tan jacket? I'm like, oh, come on.
Just they go back to this over and over again about this is the epilogue, the fallout from all that stuff. You remember that stuff that happened.
Yeah, but it's the other stuff that happens in this episode that are, more regular Night Vale stuff that are, it's still fun as usual. We got a sort of a press release, I guess, about the lawn supplies, I guess, the gardening supplies.
Yeah, there was a gardening supply sale, which the government is not really admitting whether they may or may not have been involved, but then a representative comes in and says, yeah, we were involved. And what were the lists of the different government organizations?
We had the U.S. government, the world government, the shadow government, the lizard people, and the representatives of the Watchers from Beyond the Stars. So, there was a lot of people chiming in on this one. But, anytime somebody questioned about it, they were talking about America. Love it or leave it. That was their reasoning for any help going to the people who were dislodged from the natural laws of the universe. So these gardening supplies were not kidding around.
No, they apparently were selling surplus surplus government items from secret organizations and disguising them as garden supplies. And, you know, they didn't even think it was possible for people to die like that.
Oh, God. As usual, your imagination can supply all that you need. But then he goes back to talk about more of the fallout from the events, which he doesn't need to explain because, of course, you know all about them. And the librarians are more active. And we had sort of a report from James Patterson. No, don't worry. No relation to the dairy farmer on town and everything.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
no.
he's really famous.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, we won't mistake him with the dairy farmer. But yeah, this James Patterson dude is talking about how much he really loves reading and how much he loves books. And are there any great books coming out lately? And obviously this is, something the librarians are doing. I'm like, this isn't a plug from the book, isn't it? This is totally
it really is,
like,
because they think a librarian may have escaped, which hasn't happened for, what, a year ago?
Yeah,
I think was when it
pretty
happened?
much a year. Yeah, just about. Yeah, that's right.
But
yeah.
there's like sparks coming out of the library's chimneys and the windows, and sparks are coming out of the witnesses too. And
yeah.
it's like
So
all this stuff going on, and there's a chance that the librarians may be influencing people to want to read.
oh my God, but the humanity, geez. So things have gotten really serious in Night Vale. Not to mention the whole thing with the baristas, which of course is fallout from the events that we don't need to talk about. But he talked about how the baristas use steamed milk in coffee to illustrate the exact moment of your death. I'm like, whoa, that's not going to show up on Pinterest anytime soon, I'm sure. But geez. And they also talked about, what is it they were talking about? To understand this, if we went back to the beginning, we'd have to understand the nature of time. Right?
Yeah. Well, they mentioned about the man in the tan jacket, and maybe he could have done something about that. But to understand that, we'd have to go back to the beginning, and that's kind of difficult. And it all involves getting wrapped up in the nature of time. And I think you wrote down what the actual game was about time.
Yeah, he said, scientists have a game where they try to explain time to each other without laughing. No one has ever won. I'm like, that sounds like almost like a Doctor Who call out right there.
Exactly. I want to see that in a Doctor Who episode at some point. People trying to explain time to each other and just laughing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they talk more stuff about Josie, about Jackie.
There was one bit that I thought was especially poetic. It seems that because of events that happened in the last few weeks, which they don't need to explain, the man in the tan jacket is now gone. But we never used to be able to remember him when he was here. And now that he's gone, everyone remembers everything about him. All the stuff he would do, the little slips of paper that were kind of had annoying effects on people. But Cecil especially remembers the first time that he saw him. He was standing in a small pool of light cast by a burning refrigerator.
It's just, we're not able to just remember things about him. We're able to remember really specific things about him, but we don't have to explain that because of the events of the last few weeks, right?
Yeah, Josie actually made a statement about him.
Oh, yeah, she did. But it wasn't exactly a statement. It was really her talking to Cecil, and she didn't know she was making a statement, but whatever. So, she goes on from there and says that she always liked him, even when she didn't remember him, even when he was banging on her door, begging for help to save his home, and she was ignoring him. She always liked him. And this fruit salad is really good. And Cecil absolutely agreed with her. The fruit salad was very good. Carlos had made it, and he wolfed it down, even though he's been trying to cut down on his meat consumption lately. I'm like, wow.
I guess there's a lot of meat in a fruit salad. I never knew that.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Other little incidental news, nothing to do with the events of the last few weeks, but our intern, Danielle, she stopped coming in, apparently.
I heard the beginning of this segment and thought she'd wised up. And it sounded like she was doing everything she could to survive. She was talking about all these conspiracy theories about how the radio station interns die.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, she was off her rocker. Yeah,
but she refused to do any, on the site reporting or anything like that. So Cecil just had her do the social media of the station. And I think he listed out all the different social media that he was having her update.
I think it was MySpace, Google Plus, and Snapchat. I'm like, out of that, obviously Snapchat's the only one that's going to actually work. And even then, that it was hilarious that the Google Plus people must love that they got lumped in with MySpace. space. Sorry, Google Plus. Is anybody there? It's like shouting in an empty room. Boy, this is fun, isn't it? This is so much fun. Jeez.
I keep getting notifications about you should meet this person in Google Space, and this is what's been going on in Google Space. And I swear, it's like you could hear crickets and then tumbleweeds rolling past.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Google Plus. Keep trying. I mean, you're succeeding in every other aspect of the internet. Maybe this one didn't work out yet. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Cecil just sent her for a real easy job. He sent her to go take pictures of Kashik.
And then, of course, she just hasn't been coming back. Maybe she just decided she didn't like the station anymore. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, no.
No, damn it. It's funny because that's the other thing that I had mentioned to listener Ashley. She's texting me, but she's not going to give away anything in the episode because she's already heard it. And I said, I hope we get to keep this intern for a while. She sounds like she's got survival skills. And all Ashley texted back was, I love it that you just said that. I'm like, oh, damn it.
I so liked her survivability. I thought that was really a sure thing. But yeah, so to the friends and relatives of intern Danielle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the usual. You know how all this goes. But anyway, but then we had a note from our sponsor, which Cecil only read under protest. He really didn't want to read it.
It was the idea that maybe lots of people like reading. Maybe there are so many people who have the secret desire to read that it's no longer secret, that it's no longer abnormal. Maybe we should all just finally be able to admit it without shame. No, we absolutely should not do that. We should be very ashamed of reading. If you like reading, then you are a book reading freak.
Yes, this message has been brought to you by Harper Perennial. Your books will arrive wrapped in brown paper, and your credit card statement will say, this is absolutely not a book. And Cecil, finished up,
books.
So, of course, you know, the publisher of the Night Vale book is Harper Perennial. So in case you were wondering why that was our sponsor this week, it was really subtle. But anyway.
Like the rest of this episode. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Then Cecil gets a text message from Carlos, and Carlos says he has a solution to the problem. And Cecil reads it, and of course it's very, very clever. It is Carlos after all. And so while he goes to work with Carlos on the problem, he's going to go and send us to the weather.
And I liked the weather this time, and it was a full instrumental, and I love those.
It was.
Those are some of my favorites. So.
The second I heard it, I was like, "It's an instrumental, yay!" So it was good. It was like a rock kind of beat to it, and just very, very intricate, and really, I don't know why I like the instrumental stuff. I mean, both of us sort of, I guess, play instruments more than we sing, so maybe that's it, but I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's much closer shorthand to, it seems to be an even more simplified way of reaching out to people's emotions through just the chord progressions. But yeah, the people who were complaining about this being a 28-minute long episode, all of them agreed that the weather was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was excellent. And then we come back, and we really... Not only do we not get information about the events of the last few weeks, but we don't even get information about what Carlos came up with to solve it. Because, of course, we've all known what happens. It's totally fine. That's
now, does that mean maybe that this episode falls in the middle of the book somehow, or before the epilogue of the book itself, or?
Yeah, I guess there's probably not an epilogue. I just figured it happened after the events of the book, you know.
Because that's what the title of the episode is. Yes, that's what I was thinking. But, yeah, the fact that he's like, so... we don't need to talk about how Carlos saved the day because we've all read about that. And I'm thinking, have we?
Yeah, no, that was weird. I was just like, now you're kind of putting us inside the events of the book. I thought you were putting us outside the events of the book. Oh, I'm sorry. Were we not supposed to know that's what you were doing? It was so subtle. I missed it. But yeah, he said that what he's going to go do now is he's going to go bowling with Carlos because it should be a great league, a great team. Josie has the use of her left hand again, and you all know why. And he also talked about how the pawn shop has now changed its name, and of course we know why. And I'm like, you know, if in case we're being too subtle, they released the excerpt from the beginning of the book as like that small little sort of sampler, and they talked about the pawn shop at the very beginning. So obviously that's going to be kind of an important thing. Did you not know we were talking about the new Night Vale book that's coming out in a few days?
I don't think we made that obvious.
No, I don't think they made it obvious either, but you know. And he talked about how there's he sort of did a whole sum up Night Vale and all the things that are going on, and the mayor finishing up her work day, and Carlos finishing up his work day, and all this. It was just it was the dispersion music playing in the background was this piano piece that it's done really well in a lot of other bits in the show. I almost think it was the Memories of Europe. I think that might have been.
I think it's exactly what it was. I think it was the Memories of Europe. Might have been the ending of the street cleaning day. So.
Might have been. Also might have been when Cecil and Carlos finally sat together under the lights in the sky. That might have been that music too. I'm not sure. It's been used in a lot of places, and it's really good. But he said at one point, "We are each of us a vast story waiting for someone to tell it." And I'm like, oh, t-shirt moment.
Also, indirect plug for the book, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And he said, stay tuned in just a few days for a 401-page factual report on the events of the last few weeks. I'm like, oh, my God, I didn't know that's what you were talking about. Oh, my goodness.
Sometimes I do have to wonder, because isn't he sort of preaching to the choir at this point? If he's talking about it on a podcast episode, which the only reason you would be listening to this whole thing is if basically you were already a fan and we would already know that a book is coming out, and eventually we all had it pre-ordered already. So
yeah, seriously, some of us took a little longer than others, but Also, did you watch the clip from the Tonight Show?
I did. I loved that.
Yeah, it was good. My God, these guys, you want to talk about getting into the big time. They have been on the Tonight Show, for crying out loud. If you are a person in America who didn't know about Night Vale before, I'm pretty sure you're going to know about it now. I mean, even if you don't watch the Tonight Show, somebody at your work while getting coffee will tell you about it.
And it was so appropriate, the clip that they used of Cecil doing the radio announcement, talking about an upcoming event, and we'll have lots of animals, wild animals, dangerous animals. Please stay away until we can get all these animals under control. I'm just
thinking, a great clip.
The NC State Fair's in town this week, so of course there's lots of animals, and I'm going to be thinking wild animals, dangerous animals.
That have no fear of humans. The way he read it was really good. It's awesome. I mean, I always forget in between seeing him at live shows how fun it is to just watch him read this stuff. He does a great job. It was fun. But that's all for the episode, for the recap, or of the commercial. I'm sorry, of the podcast. But we make fun. It was fun. It was a fun episode. It was good.
It was very cute, definitely.
Yeah, it was definitely cute. Not subtle, even a little bit, but it was very cute. Now, before we go, you sent me a text today. You just finished watching a particular episode of The Walking Dead.
Oh, my God. Season 5, Episode 8. And my one-word review of that to Elizabeth in a text message was, damn it.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, my one-word explanation for that episode, I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to say Beth, and that's all I'm going to say, and then we're done. So, yeah. Okay, they actually made me cry. The rat bastards who did that, and Daryl. Oh, my God. Yes,
and so unexpected, because I've been seeing the promo pictures for season 6, and it gives information about who is there and who is not there. So I was sort of expecting something was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen today.
Yes. Yeah. But speaking of season 6, we're doing every Sunday when the episode airs, and it's for West Coast people because I'm on the West Coast. I do a live tweet of the episode as it's airing, and the official Walking Dead account was really nice to us last week. They retweeted some of our stuff, so that got a little airtime. But it was the very first episode of the season was last week as of time of this recording, and it was good. It was very good. It was very powerful and very, very exciting and fun, and the second episode of the season as of recording is tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah.
So I've still got 8 friggin' more episodes left of season 5 before I can even start watching the new episodes, which I want to do because I just love it's the fandom thing. I love the idea of watching something at the same time as thousands, maybe even millions of other people.
It's true. And then watching the internet lose their minds the next day, that's always fun too. I enjoy that.
Yep. That was actually, I talked to you about one of those episodes that aired in season 5 and saying, for a show that is about an end-of-the-world plague that not only kills everyone that you love, but causes them to come back as something that can then kill you, this this show can be relentlessly dark.
Oh, yeah. And in case you're wondering which episode she was talking about, I'll just say, look at the flowers. That's all you got to do. So, yes, I remember the internet going absolutely batshit crazy when that happened.
Oh,
so,
my God. Our friend Vincent actually posted a little while ago that he had stopped watching The Walking Dead because he realized it depressed him.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that at all. Anyone who wants to back out of this because it's too dark, that's perfectly reasonable, because it is.
Yeah, I was about to say, and you haven't even seen the episode with the revolving door yet. So when you see that one, I saw a picture the other day, and it just had a picture of a revolving door with the word under it, nope. It's just...
Damn it. Yeah. It's just the trap of a show like this. I mean, it's the zombie apocalypse. It's the worst thing that could happen. How do you tell a story when the worst thing that can happen has already happened? You make worse things happen to the characters.
Oh, God, yes. The worst thing that can happen is not the zombies. It's almost never the zombies. It's the people. That's what you got to watch.
Very true, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's going to wrap us up for this week, so make sure to keep an eye out on PixelatedGeek.com for all of the podcasts that we're doing. We've got podcasts on comic books, on tabletop gaming, on video games, on movies, and general geekery like this one. Basically, if there's a podcast that you would like to hear that we're not doing, you should tell us about it, because we'll either make a podcast or we'll talk about it on this one. So there you go.
Exactly.
But other than that, we are going to see everybody in 2 weeks.
Talk to y'all later.